About 3 years ago, the world completely changed for all of us. And yes, I'm talking about the COVID-19 pandemic. And no, I'm not gonna talk about the pandemic today, but I feel like it's a great example to introduce the topic because we all know what a chaotic time that was. We literally lived through a historical period of time that completely changed our social dynamics and had us all struggling with our physical and mental health. Hi, I'm Paula, the girl that sits here every Tuesday to just talk about things that happen to all of us but that we don't talk about enough. And today we are going to talk a little bit about feeling overwhelmed with the news, and I also brought some tips in order to help you cope with this feeling of being overwhelmed. One of the ways that I feel the pandemic affected the young generations the most is the way we engage with the news and how touched we are about the different problematics that we are constantly facing as a society. And it really has come to a point in which we don't even have to look for the news anymore. Now, the news come to us. They are literally everywhere, and we are constantly reminded of global warming, overpopulation, wars, and life being chaotically unaffordable. And it really feels like the future that awaits us, it's just catastrophic. Knowing this, it's incredibly stressing and it's very normal to feel anxious. Trust me, I know that feeling when it doesn't matter what you do, it just doesn't feel like it's enough. It actually feels like it has zero impact, and that is so upsetting. And for many of you, not watching the news might make you feel guilty. Maybe you feel like if you're not constantly knowing what's going on, then that's equivalent to not caring, and that's not true. I'm sorry if this sounds kind of harsh, but watching the news all the time, it's not going to help fix any of these problematics, but it's actually going to make you pay with your mental health the price of being alive in a society like this one. And of course, this doesn't mean that the best thing to do is to simply disconnect forever. No, because the whole concept of the news itself, it's overall great. It actually helps us stay connected and be aware of the different problematics happening all over the world. And that's really helpful when it comes to taking action. But we already know that being constantly checking the news, it's not the best option. So what can you do? Learning to regulate the way you interact with the news, it's probably the healthiest approach. That way you are not completely disconnected, but you're also not fully invested in that all the time. So I have for you 6 tips that might be really helpful if you are struggling. So the tip number one is to choose one news source of your preference and stick to that one. Because one of the reasons why you might feel overwhelmed with the news, it's because your socials are full of them. And I know it's very normal that we just have this need to be informed, and so we start like following a bunch of news sources or maybe googling them, but that really is not healthy. So I would recommend that just choose one or two news sources that are trustful and that you feel comfortable with, and just sticking to them. And this takes us to the tip number 2, and that is having control over your news checking time. I know that for many of you, checking the news has probably become a habit, and now you just refresh Instagram every hour to quickly check on what's going on. But let me tell you this, if you knew it's that big, let's say for example a meteorite hitting the earth in the next 6 hours or something, you're going to find out. Like, haven't you noticed that when something huge is going on, people just talk about it, or information about that topic just pops up on your phone without you having to actually look for it. So if something huge is going on, you are going to find out. Don't worry about that. And even you, it's not that huge, then I'm pretty sure you can find out about that tomorrow. You don't have to be constantly checking on the news. So just pick a time out of your day to quickly check on what happened in the last 24 hours or what's going on. Check on that and then continue with your daily activities. That way, you know that you're informed and you know that tomorrow you are going to be informed again, and you can continue with your day without being that distressed about the news. So, tip number 3. This one might not work for everybody, but it's still a very important and helpful thing to do, and that is talking about your worries with someone you trust. I know that not everybody has someone they trust in their lives, or maybe you just don't feel comfortable talking about your emotions with other people, and that's fine as well. That's one of the reasons why I'm doing this video, and it's just to let you know that you are not alone and that you are not the only person that worries about these problematics. But in case you do actually have someone to talk to, or you're looking for reassurance, then speaking about this or just knowing that there are so many of us who care can help a lot. So if you have a safe space, definitely try to reach it. And if not, then you can always come back here. Tip number 4 is try to find the helpers. Most of the time, the information about the organizations that are trying to solve whatever conflict is going on don't really make it to the news, but there are plenty of organizations that have an active engagement in the solution of whatever problematic is going on. These organizations can be UNICEF, the Red Cross, Greenpeace, and many others. So do some research about what's being done in order to solve the problem. You might realize that it helps a lot with this feeling of helplessness and maybe this feeling that the world is ending. So yeah, just make sure you also do some research about all the things that are being done in order to solve that problem. Tip number 5 is look for the good news as well. There are plenty of Instagram accounts and TikTok pages that are fully dedicated to sharing positive content and good news that are happening every day all over the world. And being aware that there are so many good things happening at the same time as the bad ones can help you a lot manage your anxiety and this feeling of heaviness that knowing all the bad news leaves in us. So make sure you follow all of those accounts as well, or at least that you check them from time to time. And last but not least, try to focus on what you can do. I know you may feel like all of the things that you can do are meaningless or have zero impact, but trust me, it's not like that. We really don't need one person doing things perfectly. We need plenty of people doing things imperfectly, and every small action counts. So just try to focus on the things you can do. Maybe you can donate, or you know what, even sharing an Instagram post in your Insta stories really helps creating awareness of whatever problematic is going on. So please don't feel disencouraged if you feel like the things you can do might not be that big, because trust me, every action counts. And that's it for today. Remember that you are not alone. I send you a massive hug. See you next week.